Hey guys, this is Aegis, and we saw a wonderful Protoss versus Terran in the last game with Ska playing as the Protoss player for Fallacy, tying it up 2-2 for both teams, now tied. And this is going to be GSL's Terminus SE. This is a version with the rocks over here. So we will see that the Protoss player can't just turtle off of three bases and take the game, and he is going to be Heroism playing for Fever Clan, and Fallacy's Fireball is going to be over here as the green Zerg player. Terminus does have these huge rush distances, so players usually favor going for a really fast natural expansion, and perhaps even for a very fast third base. So we'll see if Heroism decides to go for that fast expansion, and we'll see how Fireball responds, either trying to do a bust or trying to get a really fast third, or maybe even getting a fast fourth and third, while our Protoss player is still hanging back on two bases. That'll give Fireball a very strong economy for the late game. So Heroism over here waiting 213 food, going to be throwing down his gateway over here. And our Zerg player going to be working up to that magical number of 300 to throw down his, oh, looks like never mind. He's going to be throwing down his spawning pool first, and then going for his hatch a little bit later. This will allow him to be a little bit safer in the beginning, and still be able to get a pretty fast expansion in comparison to going for the gas first. A couple of drones now headed to that natural expansion to take it. Right now, the probe is looking to actually deny that for a certain amount of time. A pylon actually going down. Oh no, this is exactly what Fireball is spawning pool will help prevent. As soon as those Zerglings get out onto the field, a single drone is already nibbling away at that pylon. And Heroism over here throwing up his gas, going to be grabbing that, and soon to be, oh, looks like second gas before Cybercore. So he may be going for DTs or something very gas heavy really early in the game. We'll see how this goes. He's now getting a Cybercore up at the front. No Zella on the way yet. He's spending all of his money on everything that pylon does finish. Zerglings are going to be coming out here for Zergling, so it looks like that pylon did a little bit more than delaying that expansion. It forced Fireball to get 2 extra Zerglings than he normally would have. Possibly he will be able to use those to poke at the front and secure those Xel'Naga towers. The natural expansion now popping up for Fireball. On the other side of that map, Cybernetics Core now warped in and will be researching the warp gate tech. Zerglings now marching in here, and the drone is going to be able to run its way right past, and it will be seeing the 2 gases up and running. And if he clicks on it, he will notice that the gas had a slightly less in there than normally, and it looks like that drone does go down. A nice big splat from that drone, and the Zergling's going to be poking in here, and that Zealot will be able to ward them away. They're actually running straight towards that main, and the Stalker will deny it. The Zerglings will get away. 2 of them getting taken out in that process, but it looks like still no tech yet from Heroism. He has a lot of gas saved up, and he's throwing up his natural expansion, so he's going to be using that gas for sentries, I guess. And our Zerg player scooting his overlords out across the map. Looks like one will get caught by that Stalker in the center, and it will be going down shortly. His third base will not yet be coming up. He hasn't, I don't think he's actually seen that his opponent has gone for that fast natural expansion, so he's not quite sure what to respond with yet. He should be getting another Zergling out there real soon to poke in there and see what's going on. He is rallying his Zerglings out so that he can be able to defend against any sort of early Zealot Stalker pressure. Additional drones coming out, 6 at a time. Metabolic boost on the way for those Zerglings. Overlord scooting in here will see nothing. Does not see any sort of Dark Templar tech that he may have been looking for. A couple of gateways coming up, as well as a Forge. Sentries out in the field as well. Zerglings now scooting out across the map to check out what exactly is going on, also to secure those Xel'Naga watchtowers. Hallucination is now on the way for our Protoss player. Very interesting tech choice there. I guess he will be using that to scout early on instead of going for a faster robotics facility. However, that does leave him a little bit more open to roach harassment if he does not get a cannon at the front. And immediately the +1 ground weapons is on the way. A third base is coming up for our Zerg player as he does see the natural expansion up for Heroism. I'd like to see him start busting down these rocks over here and deny that third pretty easily if our Protoss player decides to take it way too early. More pylons coming up for our Protoss player. A couple of Zerglings at the front going to be forced out of here by those Zealots and Sentries, poking out just to see if there's anything out there that he might need to know about, such as Banelings morphing in. But there's no such thing. Roach Warren is now on the way. The creep spread is moving its way across the map. Spinecrawler coming up for Fireball as well. And the +1 is about halfway complete. Robotics facility now on the way. Drones transferring over to that third base. Queen also available to throw down additional vomits over there to get a nice large larva influx. Overlord repositioning itself, going to be able to spot for that third base as soon as it comes up. Possibly even dump some creep over there. Photon cannon coming up for Heroism. And Heroism's Phoenix does get a scout in there. I guess he's seen much. Let's take a look. He does not know about that Roach Warren. Where's that Roach Warren? Not even I know about that. There it is in the main. So Fireball will be able to get up his lair and additional Roach upgrades when he desires to. Looks like Heroism pushing across the map with his gateway units. He's got a lot of sentries with a lot of energy. If he's able to trap any of those Zerglings out here, it will be very difficult to hold against this push. However, Roaches are out on the field now. 26 Zerglings being made to defend against this. Heroism going to be sitting back here on these two bases, not quite ready to take that third yet. There it is, the third coming up for Heroism. Going to be going for it just as I was saying he was not. Looks like... I love that Zelnaga tower sound. And additional Zerglings spawning over here. More Roaches on the way. Another base coming up as well. It's going to be a macro hatch. There it is in the main for Fireball. Zergling's going to be running in here trying to do some damage against these structures. If he can pick any of these off, this will do a huge amounts of damage. The Zergling's going to be running by into the main. There's no Zealot being warped in. Looks like they will be able to run into the mineral line and do tons of damage. However, over here, tons of force fields going down. However, it is delaying his own push. Observer also preventing the creep spread. And it looks like a Fireball will be able to defend against that pretty easily. The Zerglings, however, eating up all of the probes within the main. 22 workers killed for Fireball. Oh man, the Protoss army is in a world of hurt. Now more probes getting pressed into battle. Zergling's also going to be able to run towards the third and check that it is there. Maybe even force a cancel, but it is about to finish and the Protoss army is now retreating. Will be able to defend against those Zerglings, picking off yet another probe to a total of 24 probes killed so far. Possibly even get some of the Zerglings over here to work down on those rocks and harass some more. Zerglings actually told to target down that Nexus, unable to do it. Will be able to regain the shields in just a moment. The melee attacks is on the way for our Zerg player, as well as additional Overlords, and the lair is now been started, is about 10% complete. 14 drones coming out at a time. Fireball is a baller. He's going to be getting up so many drones. It's going to be 65 drones to the 39, and now with all those drones hatching, it is 80 drones to the very low number, 39 probes of our Protoss player. The Zerglings and the Roaches advancing across the field, going to be picking apart these pylons. Heroism chose the wrong time to push in there, and he's going to be remaking some units over here. Immortals now popping out, and actually on the wrong side of this wall, finally noticing and pulling him back into that army. And it looks like the fourth base being taken by Fireball, going to be macroing up even harder for the remainder of this game. It is 160 food to the 100 food of our Protoss player. Our Zerg player is rushing ahead with a 60 food over our Protoss player. However, Heroism does have this third base. He has got the Vespine gas over here that he can take and possibly go for a death ball-like army off of 3 bases and try to push for the win. It's always an option. Chrono Boost going down on the Forge, I guess as an accident. Another robotics bay getting made and then cancelled. So Templar Archives now on the way for Heroism, so he's going to be going for High Templar, possibly to storm away all of those Zerglings, using his Immortal to bust down all of those Roaches. Blink is on the way as well, +2 attack for the ground army is coming up as well. There's a Lazy Probe hanging out with the army, trying to blend in, but he's actually just a weakling. Here comes all of the Zerg units going to be advancing across the field now. 182 food with 1,000 in the bank, making the pathogen glands as well as glial reconstitution carapace level 2 coming down, as well as a Baneling's nest. Robotics Bay now on the way for our Protoss player, going to be going for those ever powerful Colossus, and here comes a push from our Zerg player. The Roach is going to be advancing forward. Glial reconstitution not quite finished yet for those speed Roaches. It looks like another base getting taken down here. Fireball going for his 5th base already, and the Roach is going to be running in here, see how much damage they can do. Here comes the Protoss army, going to be taking out a couple of those Roaches. Force fields going down, preventing a couple of those Roaches from escaping, but it does not matter to Fireball. He's got such a large army over there, and he's got so much in the bank. All he needs is some more gas. Neuroparasite on the way for those Infestors. Spore Crawlers coming up. Spine Crawlers as well. So our Zerg army is going to be as good as it's going to get. Storm is on the way as well for Heroism, so he's going to be able to storm those units, and he needs to be a hero in order to win this game. He's already behind by a lot. He's banking some minerals, but his army is not maxed. Chrono boosting the +2 weapons, and that will be finishing up real soon. Zerg player moving his army over here, killing off a probe that was scouting. Storm is just finished up, and the +2 armor is on the way for our Protoss player. Fireball could throw down all of the hatches all around the field for all of those expansions if he wanted to at this moment in time, but it looks like he's not opting to do that. Something that I wish the Zerg players would do when they are max. They'll easily be able to utilize all the bases for production. And he does have 3,000 minerals in the bank, so there's no excuse for not spending it. A hive is on the way. More gateways coming up for our Protoss player, and he's going to be pushing out, trying to take that 4th base. 4th base on the way for Heroism. We'll see if Fireball is going to push against it, trying to deny it. Colossus is out in the field already. Just hanging out here, both players just waiting for their units. Banelings now coming out, Infestors out in the field as well. We'll see if those force fields are heroic enough to defend that Protoss army. Heroism headed towards the 200 food count, and here we go. Here comes the Zerg army rushing in here. The Roaches, nice force fields going down. The Banelings are going to be trapped behind those Roaches, and Storms going down. Very nice Storms, cleaning up some of those Banelings. He needs to feed back some of those Infestors, and the fungal growth cleaning up that Protoss army, all of it going down. Beach balls also getting thrown down as well, and all of those Infestors will be able to get away if they so desire, but it looks like they will be joining this battle by hanging out and trying to take some damage. And fungal growth going down on the Immortals. Immortals are very weak, but they still are able to kill off all of those Infestiterans, and it looks like Heroism will be able to defend for now. He's got 2 Colossus and some very powerful units out in the field, but our Zerg player is making 88 Zerglings and 12 Roaches all at the same time. And he's also getting the Baneling speed, finally finishing that up. Melee attacks level 2, also finishing. 2 more hatches being taken in the bottom on the south side of this map. More Banelings being morphed, 31 Banelings at a time. He's used up his entire trust fund on this gigantic Zergling swarm. There are no force fields left to deal with this. If he had those force fields, it'd be very good against this army, especially with Templar in the mix. But it looks like he will not be able to get those guys out on the field soon enough. The Templar are still trying to get enough energy. We'll see if Fireball decides to push real soon. The Adrenal, or no, the Carapace +3 is also coming up. More creep tumors creeping towards that Protoss base. All of those hatches now finishing up. The Zerg player going to be rushing in here. The Templar, do they have Storm? Yes, they do. He needs to throw down some very good Storms against this army. But the Templar, finally, Storm's going down. But it's just not quite enough. The Banelings rolling in. The Neural Parasite going down. GG from Heroism. Actually, it's a G.G. Shout out to Day9 for giving us that one, and this game does go to Fallacy, taking it to 3-2 in favor of Fallacy. We'll see if Fever Clan's player in Game 6 will choose a map that is in a good favor for them to be able to take another game and take it down to the ace match, or if Fallacy will be able to seal the deal at 4-2. We're going to be headed into Game 6.